In this video, we are going to discuss about Armstrong number. This is one of the frequently asked question in interviews as well as in coding rounds. Let's take an example for explaining this Armstrong number. I took an example of 153. The length of 153 digit is 3. I am going to power 1 with power 1 3 times and 5 3 times and 3 times based on this length. If it is 4, then 1 4 times, 5 4 times and 3 4 times. This 1 into 1, it depends on the length of the digit. Whereas 1 power 3 is 1 and 5 power 3 is 125, 3 power 3 is 27. By adding these numbers, we get the same number, 153. So it is called as an Armstrong number. Some of the examples of Armstrong number are 0, 1, 153, 370, 371, 407. These are some of the examples of Armstrong number. Let me go do the code for this Armstrong number using Python. I am using Python 3.x version. You can use any versions here. Let's take the input from the user first. Enter your number. Let we give a new line and let we take the input from the user. Since we are getting the number, so it is int of input. Now let we check a condition here, like if let we take the length of input, L is equal to str of x. We are converting the int to string in order to get the length. Next, let we check a condition like y equal to power of. Let we take a for loop in order to get the each digit for I in str of input. Str of x means it will be converted into string. I am getting each and every in a for loop, each and every character in a string using the for loop, and again I am converting this into integer, like t is equal to int of I. Now I am getting the each digit here, and I am going to multiply and add with it, like power of t comma the length is L, L. S is the sum. Each and every time it will get it will be added up, and at last we will get yes. Now let me check the code. I'm giving 153. Sorry, 53. See, I'm getting the same output as yes. This indicates that our algorithm is working fine. Let we do a condition here, or else we can check with another input, like I'm giving 455, but see the output varies. This means this is not an Armstrong number. Okay, now let we check a condition with the help of if the output s equal to input, that means x, then given number is an Armstrong number. else not an Armstrong number. Now let me check the output. Now I am giving the same input I have given before. See, 153 is an Armstrong number. Let me check with other input. Other example is like 370. Let me give 370. 370 is an Armstrong number. Let me try with the other number like 445. 445 is not an Armstrong number. This is how the code works. Let me explain how the code works briefly. First, the 15th line will be start compiling. That means print, enter your number. It will be displayed in the output. After that, we want to give the input. That means 445. X 445 will be stored in X, and L will have the length of X. That means the length of X is 3. In order to get the length, I am using len function. Len function works with string, so I am converting the integer into string using str function. After that, I am using s is equal to 0. This variable stores 0. This is used to find the sum. Next, I am iterating to each and every character in a string of x. That means first it will be 4, after that 4, after it will be 5. First, I will equal to 4. 4 is now character. I want to convert into integer, so I am using int class. Then after that, it will be stored in t. Now I'm going to find power of the 4 comma the length is 3. That means 4 power 3. Now s will have 4 power 3. After that, I is equal to 4, again 4 power 3. That means it will be like 4 power 3 plus 4 power 3 plus again it will be 5, so 5 power 3. Now s will have now s will be having some as some value. Okay, if this s is equal to, since s is an integer, it will be more meaningful if you both are the same data type. So s is an integer and x also integer. I am checking s is equal to x. If it is equals, then it prints given number is an Armstrong, or else it will be a not Armstrong number. This is how the code works. In this video, we are going to discuss about factorial number. You all know that what is meant by factorial number. We are going to use Python to find the factorial of a number. First, let me explain how the factorial number works. First, let me discuss 1 factorial is 1, 0 factorial is 1, 2 factorial is equal to 1 star 2, that is 2, 3 factorial is equal to 1 star 2 star 3, that means 6. This is how the factorial works. Let's do coding using Python. I'm using Python 3.x version. You can use any other version you want. Let me do coding here. I will be using two methods. Like one is by using recursion. The second one is by normal method. First, let me complete the normal method. Okay. First, let me take the input. First, let me print some statements like enter your number, and let me give some new line, and let me take x. it will be input, so int of input, it will be like integer, so int of input. If the input is 0 or x equal to 1, then print of factorial of a given number is 1. Okay. This indicates the first two condition. That means if input is 1 or 0, then the factorial will be 1. Else we want to do some operation like this. I will be using a for loop for I in range of 1 comma the input plus 1. Okay. Then I'm using s equal to 1. This will be storing the product of each number. That means if input is 2, then it will be like 1 to 2, 1 star 2. In order to do that like that, s star equal to I. Now s will be storing the factorial. Print factorial of a number is plus yes. If we run the code, let me give 2. Sorry, here we want to give 2. It's showing some error like can only concatenate string, not integer. S is not concatenate because S is an integer. In order to solve this problem, you can use str to convert integer to string. Now let me run. Input is 2. So I want to give here. Input is 2. Factorial of a number is 2. Let me clear this and start again with it. Now I am giving 5. Factorial of a number is 120. Let me explain how this works. First, enter your number will be shown. After that, user will be giving the number. That means the 5 will be stored in X. And I'm using a variable called S to store 1 in order to do the product of numbers. After that, I'm checking a basic condition here. That means if input is 0 or input is 1, the factorial will be 1 itself. So I'm using this condition in order to avoid time complexity. So I'm using this if and printing this statement. If it is not 1 or 0, then it will be giving coming to else part, and in else part I'm using for loop because let me explain how the factorial works. If the factorial of 2 is 2, it works like 1 star 2 2 1 star 2. Okay, that means equal to 2. For in order to get this 1 2, if it is 3 factorial, 1 2 3, in order to get this 1 2 3, I'm using the for loop for I in range of from range 1 to the input value. That means the input value is 5. So 1 to 5, 5 plus 1 6. That means the last operator will eliminate minus 1 inside, so it will be like 1 to 5. The range will be like 1 to 5. So at first it will be like s is equal to, first it will be like s equal to s star I. That means s is initially 1, so 1 star I. For first time I will be 1. Okay, Now s will be 1, and in second iteration it will be like 2. That means I is equal to 2. In second iteration it will be like s equal to s star I. That means um, now s is 1, so 1. Now s is 1, 1 star 2. Now s is equal to 2. In third iteration it will be like s is equal to s star I equal to, now s is 2, 2 star 3. Now s is equal to 6. I've given input like 5, right? Up to now 3 iterations are completed. Next s is equal to s star I. Now s is 6, 6 star I is now is 4, 4 6 are 24. Now s is 24. At last iteration s is equal to s star I. That means 24 star 5. That means 120. And the for loop will be finished, and now s will be storing 120 and it will be printed as the output. This is how the code works. This is the normal method, normal form of doing the factorial of a number. Let me try with recursion. I will be eliminating I will be eliminating all of this code, and I will be using these first two statements. Now we are using recursion, right? We all know that recursion means the function call itself again and again until the condition fails. This is the recursion, right? Now I'm using fact. This is a function I'm using, fact of x, and I'm using some functions. Def fact of let's take an input of a. If a equal to 0 or a equal to 1, then we want to return 1. Else we want to do return a star factorial of a minus 1. This is the code for recursion. Better you use recursion to find factorial, because in most interviews they will be asking recursion to solve this problem. So better use recursion. Let me run this code. First I will be giving 5 as the input. Now the factorial of 5 is 120. We are getting the same output only. That means our code works fine. Let me clear, and let me explain how this works. First I will be like giving 2, and the output is 2 because the factorial of 2 is 2, right? First x will be storing 2, and now function takes 2. That means here a is equal to 2. A stores value of 2, and the first condition fails, that if condition fails, and else here um, here a is 2, 2 star fact of 2 minus 1 is 1. Now it will be calling again, it will be calling the function, the same function, fact of 2. Now a will be storing like 1, and it will return 1. That means it will return 1, and this 1 will be returned to here. That means now the fact value is 1. That means 2 star 1, 2 star 1 is 2. Now it will return 2, so the output will be 2. This is how the recursion works. The function call itself again and again until the condition is met. This is called as an recursion. In this video we are going to discuss about Fibonacci series. I already wrote some snippet of code here. This is the series how it looks like. It works like, first initially it will have 0 and 1. After adding 0 and 1, we will be getting the new number 1. After adding 1 1, we will be getting new number 2. After adding 1 plus 2, we will be getting 3. After adding 2 plus 3, we will be getting 5. How it works like, it will be added the last two numbers and creating a new number. This is the mathematical term how it will be expressed. Fn is equal to fn minus 1 plus fn minus 2. First, let me do a code in normal way. First, it will be like, print enter number of terms you want in the series. X will be taking the number of terms as integer, and initially I am having the empty array, and after that, I will be adding the initial two values, that is 0 and 1, that using append. After that, I am using the range from 2 to x, that means number of terms 5, like that. After that, I will be appending the last two values, each and time every last two values, that means I minus 1 and I minus 2. This is what we will be representing in mathematical terms, and I'm at last I will be printing y. Let me see the output. I am using 5. See, there are 5 terms: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. This is an Fibonacci series, how it would like. Let me explain how this works. First, the array will be having 0, and after that, it will be having 1. That means it looks like this: 0 and 1. After that, now, now I is 2. Now I is 2 to 5. That means 2 to 4. First it will be I is equal to 2, then I is equal to 2 means, y will be having a new value like 0 comma 1 comma y of I minus 1. I is 2, right? 2 minus 1 is 2 minus 1 plus y of 2 minus 2. After that, after adding 0 comma 1 comma y of 2 minus 1 is 1, that means y of 1 is 1, 1 plus 0 is 1. Now the array will be like 0 1 and 1. Now y will be like 0 1 and 1. Now again, I is equal to 3. Now I is equal to 3 means y of 3 minus 1 plus y of 3 minus 2. Now new array will be created. That means 0 comma 1 comma 1 comma y of 3 minus 1. That means y of 2 plus y of 1 is 2. This is how this Fibonacci series works. Now let me do in recursion way, using recursion. Mostly in interviews and in coding competitions, they will be asking to do code in recursion way because it will be more reliable and it will have less time complexity. So they will be asking like to do in recursion. Mostly in technical interview, they will ask only in recursion to do this code. Okay, so so be prepared and know how it works too. First, let make an for I in range of the input x. After that, it could be like I'm using some function. Okay, so here a fib of I. Okay, I'm just printing it each and every time. I'm printing it. Now I am just creating a function here like fib of a. If a is equal to 0 or a equal to 1, then we should return 1. Else it could be like mathematical term, that means fib of a minus 1 plus fib of a minus 2. We should return this. I already explained how the recursion works using factorial program. You can see in the playlist of programming in YouTube channel. Okay, you can learn from there. Let me check and see how it works. First, let me clear the output side. Let me run the code and let me give as 5 again. Now you can see sorry, it is not printing 0 because I have used this condition. So I'm, if a is equal to 0, a is equal to 1, it will return 1. I should mention like return a, then it would give the correct output. Let me give 5. So now you can see the output, correct output here. Okay. Let me explain how this works. First, it will be x. X will be storing 5, the number of terms, and for I in range, each time it will be calling this function. That means a recursion function. Um, Recursion here, a new. Okay. Each time it will be calling recursion function. We know that recursion is a function, the function that calls itself again and again until the condition is met. That means the function calls itself again and again until the condition fails. Okay. First, it will be like, let's take an example of 2. Okay. Number of, let's take an example of number of terms is 3. First, I will be having 0. Okay. First, I will be having 0 and it will coming here 0. Then after that, it will check if a is equal to 0 or a is equal to 1. Yes, a is equal to 0. That means we want to return a. A is 0. Okay. Now it will be printing 0 here. Okay. Let's print here. Output. Okay. Output here. First, it will be printing 0. Okay. First iteration is completed. Next, now I is equal to, now I is equal to 1. Here it will be like 1. Okay. Now here a is equal to 1. Again a is equal to, and in this condition is true, again it will return 1. Now the output is 1. Now the output is 1. Okay. Now the I will be like 3. I is like 3, sorry, 2. I will be 2. Now if condition fails and it will come here. Now a is equal to 2. That means it will be like fib of 2 minus 1 is 2 minus 1 plus fib of 2 minus 2. That means 2 minus 1 is 1 and 2 minus 2 is 0. That means fib of 0 is 0 and fib of 1 is 1. That means 0 plus 1 is 1 and it will return 1. Again it will be like 1. Now now it will be like 3. Yes, I given x 3, so 3 terms is completed. This is how the recursion works here. Okay. In this video, we are going to discuss how the odd or even program works, and let me do some coding here. First of all, the basic mathematical formula to check whether the number is odd or even is like, let's take a number of 2. If the remainder of 2 is equal to if the remainder of 2 is equal to 0, then it is called as an even number. If the remainder of divided by 2 is not equal to 0, then it is called as an odd number. 2 divided by 2 is equal to 0, so it is an even number, or else it is called as an odd number. This is the basic algorithm or the basic concept to check whether the number is odd or even. Now let me do some code here. I'm using Python 3.x version. You can use any version. First of all, let me take an input from the user. Enter your number. The slash n is used to give a new line. Let me take an input. This is the code snippet which is used to take an integer input. Now let me use the condition if x. In order to check the remainder, we use an percentage symbol here, like x divided by 2 is equal to 0, then given number is even, else given number is odd. This is how the code works. Let me run the code here. It will ask enter your number. Let me give a number 4. Sorry, let me give a number 4. Here, this is the output. Given number is even. Let me clear the screen and let me give another input here. Let me give another value 3. Here, the given number is odd because 3 divided by 2, the remainder is 1. So it is odd. Let me explain how the code works. First, the first line will be executed and it will show the enter your number in the screen. This is the output, enter your number. Next, it will ask for the input from the user. I am the user and I am giving 3 here, and it will take the 3 in variable x and 3 modulo 2. That means it gives the remainder. It gives a reminder and checks if the remainder is equal to 0. 3, let me take 3 modulus of 2 is 1 is not equal to 0, so it is printing given number is odd, or else it will print the given number is even. This is how the code works here. In this video we are going to discuss about palindrome program. Palindrome is defined as the characters read the same backward as forward. For an example, let's take an example of madam. In forward, the letters are M-A-D-A-M. In backward, the letters are M-A-D-I-M. In both front and backward, it forms the same word. That means it have the same sequence of characters. So this string is known as palindrome. Let me code a program for this palindrome using Python. I am using Python 3.x version. You can use other versions too. We are not going to import any libraries here. First of all, let me use print statement in order to create the sentence to enter the value from the user. Enter your value to check palindrome or not. After that, let me use a variable word. Let me use a variable x here because word is let me use a simple variable x here in order to get the input. In order to get the string input, we can use input function. After that, let me use a if condition. That means x equal to this is a slicing operator. X is to minus 1 is a slicing operation used to reverse a string. If x equal to reverse of string, then it is a palindrome string. The given input is a palindrome. If it false, that means else. then print the given input is not a palindrome. This is the code here. Let me explain how this code works. First, it will print a statement called enter your value to check palindrome or not. Then after that, it will ask for input. After that, it will check a condition where the input string is equal to reverse of string. If if it satisfies the condition of if, then it will print like the given input is a palindrome. Else, it will print the given input is not a palindrome. Let me run this code. First, it will ask enter your value to check palindrome or not. You should give an input here. Let me give madam. Here is the output. The given input is a palindrome. Let me give another input like going. Let me run the code. Yeah. Let me give another input going. But here see the given input is not a palindrome because from forward the string sequence or GOING, from backward it is GN. That means the given string is not a palindrome. This is how the palindrome code works. In this video, we are going to discuss about sorting an array. I am using Python 3.x version. You can use any other versions you want. First, let me explain what is meant by sorting. In our childhood days, we will be studying like ascending order and descending order. The same mathematical information is used here. Like first, it is an ascending order. We know that ascending order means from minimum to maximum. In descending order means it will be like maximum to minimum. We are going to code for this problem like sorting an array. Let me take the length of the array as L is equal to int of input. A will be storing the length of array. First, let me print something in order to show for the user. Enter your length for array, and let me give a new line. After that, let me make a for loop here for I in range of a. That means for each and every iteration, we are going to get a value from the user and we are going to store it in an array for doing sorting. Now, let me take a value. That means let me give a print value here in order to show the user that they want to enter the value for each iteration. Enter your value. Now x will be storing each value of an array. That means the integer value. Okay. Now each time the value will be appended. That means will be added to the array of b. Okay. Now let me print whether we are getting array of b or not. Now let me run the code. First, it will be asking enter your length for an array. I will be giving a length as 3, and we want to give your value 1, 2, 3. This is the output. We are getting an array. Now our code works fine. Let me do given feature for our code of sorting. You can do sorting many ways. You can use sort or sorted, or you can use your own algorithm to your own logic to. I will be using now. I will be using like b dot sort. After sorting the b array, let me print it. Now let me clear this and let me run again. I'm giving input as 3 and I'm giving it an reverse order 3 2 1. Now see, the output is 1 2 3. That means our array is sorted in ascending order. In order to get in descending order, we want to use reverse equal to true. By giving this, you can able to get an output in the descending order. Now let me give the same 3 3 2 1. See, the output is in descending order. Now let me give another input. Let me give a 4, then value 0 56 to 99. See, the output is in descending order. That means our code working fine. Let me show the other way of getting ascending and descending order. Other way of getting ascending order is like directly you can use sorted of b. Sorted of b. Now let me print. Let me let me clear the screen and let me give the new value like 4. Let me sorry you want to run the code here. Let me give length as 4 and value as 99 0 1 20. See, we are getting in ascending order. In order to get in descending order, you can use a slicing operation. We can reverse the ascending order. We know, right? By reversing, that means the ascending order is inversely proportional to descending order. By reversing ascending order, you can able to get the descending order. By reversing descending order, you can able to get the ascending order. Let me try this. Let me clear the console. Let me give as 4 to 98 100 23. See, we are getting in descending order. This is how the code works. Let me explain how this works briefly. First, it will be asking like enter your length for array. This is the enter your length for an array. After that, it will be like asking the input from the user and it will be stored in A. Now I am giving 4 and A will be having the 4 and B is an empty list. Let me now we are using for loop for iterating A times. For 4 times you want to get the value. That means you want to enter 4 values. For each and every iteration, it will be asking like enter your value. For first iteration, it will be asking enter your value and X will be storing 2. Then and X will be stored in B. After second iteration, you will be entering 98 and enter your value. X will be having 98 and it will be stored in B. After that 100, after that 23. That means B will be having at last B will be having all the values. And at last you can use I have explained 4 ways of doing sorting. You can use those ways and you can do the program according to your needs. Sorting is also an important question used in asked in interviews and also in coding rounds. You can practice your own to attend these questions. Practice do a practice on this question so that you will get to know more about how to use it. In this video we are going to see how to do string concatenation using Python. I am using Python 3.x version. You can use any other versions you want. This is one of the important program. They will be asking in coding rounds, and also they will be asking in TR rounds too. Um, First, let me explain what is meant by string concatenation. Concatenation means adding two strings. Let's take an example of apple and orange. Now, these are two strings we are having. After concatenation, it will be like this. It will be added up, or else like this. This is called as a string concatenation. Let we do using Python here. First, let we print some statements like enter your first string. Then enter your second string. Okay. First string will be s1. Second string will be s2. After concatenation, concat output is slash like print. In C, it's very simple to do string concatenation. Just use plus symbol. That means use plus symbols to do concatenation. Let me give here a new line. New line. Now let me run our code. First, it will ask for your first string. I am giving apple. Then it will ask for second string. I am giving orange. After concatenate output, it will be like apple orange. This is one type of concatenation. If you want any space in between, you just use like this space plus. You can use a plus operation to do concatenation. Let me see with space output. I'm running code again. The first string is like apple, second string is like orange. Now you can see the space. You can also give here minus underscore star brackets, whatever you want, you can use here. The other way of doing concatenation is by using join dot join. Inside join, you want to specify in array like this. That's it. This is another way of concatenation. Let me check the output. First, apple, orange. See, after concatenation, it will be like in order to give a space, you can use space here. You can use space here. Let's see the output. Like apple, orange. Now you can able to see the space here. This is another way of doing string concatenation, and also we can use other way too, like this percentage yes space percentage yes. After that percentage s1 comma s2. This is another way of concatenation. Let me run the code again. Like apple, sorry, I want to type here apple, orange. See, this is another way of concatenation. If you don't want space, you can leave space. You can delete space here. If you want to specify any symbols, you can use plus equal to plus, or you can use any wordings like apple is orange, apple is better than orange, like that. You can specify. These are some ways of doing concatenation. In this video, we are going to discuss about a vowels and consonants program using Python. I am using Python 3.x version. You can use any other versions to do the code. Vowels and consonants. This will be asked in every interviews, mostly in competitive interviews. They will be asking like print only vowels, find the number of vowels in a string, eliminate vowels in a string, or else will be like find the number of consonants in a string. These are some questions asked related to vowels. Let me explain what is meant by vowels and consonants. Vowels means in alphabets A, E, I, O, U are called as vowels, and other alphabets are called as consonants. Let we code for this vowels and consonants. First, let we find number of vowels in a string. Okay. Now, now let me use some print function. Enter your string. I am using some new line. After that, X will be storing the input. That means storing string. Now, for vowels, I will be creating a new array which will have A, E, I, O, U. Now, let me check whether the input string X having the vowels A, I, O, U. Now, I'm iterating to the X for I in X. If I in V, then I am doing count plus equal to 1. Initially I'm getting C is equal to 0. I'm using C is equal to 0. Print number of vowels is percentage D percentage C. Okay, now let me run this code. Now I'm going to enter apple. Sorry, I want to enter here. See, the number of vowels is 2. That means number of vowels here present in apple is AE. These are the vowels. So the count of vowels is 2. Now let me try. I am giving all the letters as alphabets, but it doesn't giving count as 2 because here there are I have given only the small cases in order to avoid the case insensitive, or you can eliminate this error in two ways. One is by adding like this. That means you can add caps to here, caps vowels like this. You now if you run, let me clear this and run the code again. Now I'm giving all this. Now it works fine. This is one way. You can use another way too, like you can convert the entire input string into lowercase so that all the letters um, so that all the alphabets will be converted into lowercase x dot lower. Now now let me run again. I'm typing here. Yes, now it works fine. By doing these two ways, you can eliminate that error before which we have got. Next, you can you next we can find the number of consonants in a string. In order to find, you can make a small change here. If I not in, just add not. If the input is not present in v, then definitely it will be a constant. So uh, number of consonants is the output. Now let me clear the screen and let me run it again. Now let me give apple again. Here the number of consonants is 3. That means pp. P is consonant. P is consonant. L is consonant. There are two p's, so count is 2, and L, so their count is 3. This is how we can find number of vowels and number of consonants in a string.